Hello, welcome back to our channel, where we delve into the deepest and most terrifying mysteries of the world. Today, we have content that will send shivers down the spine of even the bravest. Let's dive into real and supernatural stories, tales of sinister shadows, malevolent presences, spirits that linger, and paranormal encounters that defy all logical explanation. Prepare to hear accounts that will stir your mind and your heart. From visions of spectral figures to frightening premonitions, these episodes will leave you questioning everything you think you know about life and death. Stories that will make you ponder what exists beyond. Watch and draw your own conclusions. Caution: these stories are real and reported, and may disturb sensitive minds. They have been sent in by viewers, and include investigated cases and legends from the Appalachian Mountains. If you have a story to tell, please share it with us below. Story 1. The Appalachian Mountains, covered in dense forests and shrouded in a mist that seems to whisper ancient secrets, is a place where legends feel as alive as the nature surrounding it. Here, every stone and every tree has a story, many of which are enough to make even the bravest hearts falter. Let me take you on a journey through the chilling legends that surround this mysterious mountain range. In the vast and mysterious Appalachian stretches the Appalachian Trail, a winding path that crosses over 3,500 kilometers from the icy north of Maine to the warm lands of Georgia. Known for its wild beauty and unexplored stretches, it is also the setting for disappearances that defy logic and stoke fear in even the bravest. Among these numerous cases, that of Geraldine "Jerry" Largay remains one of the most enigmatic and frightening. Jerry, a retired nurse full of life and adventure, decided in 2013 to fulfill her dream of trekking the Appalachian Trail. She was well prepared for the journey, equipped with adequate supplies, detailed maps, and a phone to maintain regular contact with her husband, George, who followed her at a distance, meeting her at predefined points along the route. However, on a seemingly normal July morning, while the sun still struggled to assert itself among the tall treetops, Jerry made a decision that would forever change her fate. She left the main trail to heed nature's call. It was a detour that was supposed to last only a few minutes, but hours began to pass, and Jerry did not return. Realizing something was wrong, George alerted the authorities, and thus began one of the largest search operations in the history of the Appalachians. Rescue teams, volunteers, sniffer dogs, and helicopters scoured the area. The dense forest seemed to swallow any sound, and the search became increasingly desperate as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months with no sign of Jerry. 2 years later, in an outcome as tragic as it was mysterious, a surveyor, while mapping a remote section of the trail just 800 meters from where Jerry should have been, stumbled upon an improvised campsite. Amidst fallen leaves and the quiet gloom of the forest, they found what remained of Jerry. The site was strangely organized, with her personal belongings carefully arranged around a tent faded by time. Even more disturbing, a diary found alongside her remains revealed Jerry's last days, a mix of hope and despair as she tried to find her way back to the trail, each diary entry more hopeless than the last. Jerry's diary pages told a story of survival and solitude, her final words echoing a chill that transcended the mountain's cold. She wrote about strange sounds at night, movements in the shadows of the forest, and the growing feeling of being watched. Her last entries are confused, punctuated by delirium and fears, leaving a disturbing mystery about what really happened in those dark woods. Jerry Largay's story is now told in whispers along the Appalachian Trail, a grim reminder that lingers in the winding paths and in the hearts of those who dare to walk these ancient lands. Each subsequent disappearance on the trail only seems to reinforce the legend of what many now call the vanishing steps of the Appalachians, a tale that blends reality and folklore, leaving all who hear it with a mix of curiosity and dread. Story 2. In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, wrapped in mists that perpetually caress its forgotten peaks, lies a mystery that echoes through the ages. Known among the locals simply as the Endless Echo, this phenomenon has been the subject of both fascination and terror. It is not merely a return of sounds cast into the air, it is an experience that stirs the very guts of those who dare to unravel its secrets. It is said that in this place, if one cries out their deepest fears or darkest secrets into the abyss, the mountain absorbs them not with indifference, but with an insatiable thirst. In the silence that follows, one might think their words have been lost to the vast forests or dissipated in the ceaseless cold breezes. However, as the sun sets and night takes its place, a darker reality unfolds. As the moon ascends, veiled by passing clouds, and stars twinkle in an endless sky, the sounds begin to manifest. First, soft and almost imperceptible, the voices return. Not as a common echo that quickly dies on rocky slopes, but as a sinister and continuous whisper that seems to delve deeper into the soul of the listener. The words, now distorted and cold, reverberate not only in the air but in the minds of those who uttered them. The region's oldest inhabitants, descendants of generations who respected and feared the mountain, speak of the mountain spirit, an ancient and powerful entity that guards all the secrets and fears entrusted to it. They say this spirit is not malicious but wise and just, teaching the reckless the weight of words spoken without caution. The mountain, they claim, holds these secrets not to punish, but to remind men and women that everything spoken to the wind has the power to shape fate. Those who have experienced the endless echo and returned speak of sleepless nights, where the voices of their past resound in a ghostly chorus that seems impossible to silence. Some return to the mountain, pleading in hushed voices for their secrets to be forgotten, but the mountain, in its eternal wisdom, seldom grants such oblivion. And so, the myth continues to grow. Adventurers, tourists, and even scientists have come to the Appalachian Mountains, equipped with recorders and scientific instruments, hoping to capture this phenomenon or explain it through logic. But the mountain guards its secrets relentlessly. The recordings capture only the sound of the wind and the occasional chirp of a nocturnal bird. The echoes, it seems, are meant only for the ears of those who provoked them. The endless echo of the Appalachian Mountains remains one of the most disturbing and irresistible mysteries of the region, a constant reminder that some things, once said, can never be truly taken back or forgotten. It is a tale that resonates with the same force as the voices echoing between its ridges, a story that both invites and warns. Be careful with the words you release into the winds of the Appalachian Mountains. Story 3. In the foggy and isolated regions of Brown Mountain in North Carolina, a chilling story of loss and eternal search lingers in local memory, haunting both residents and visitors. The mountain, an enigmatic landmark dominated by dense forests and deep valleys, is renowned not only for its wild beauty but also for the inexplicable brown mountain lights. These lights, first spotted in the early 20th century by European settlers, are described as bright spheres of light that float and move erratically across the night sky. The origin of these lights remains a mystery, capturing the curiosity of scientists and paranormal enthusiasts for decades. Among the various legends surrounding Brown Mountain, the most chilling is that of the Tall Man. This tale begins with a simple farmer named Jacob Miller, whose life was marked by indescribable tragedy at the turn of the 19th to the 20th century. Jacob was known in the area for his dedication to family and deep love for his two small children. One day, during a particularly beautiful yet deceitfully dangerous autumn, his children disappeared into the dense forests covering the mountain slopes. Desperate, Jacob initiated an unrelenting search. Day and night, with a lantern in hand, he traversed the paths and valleys of Brown Mountain, calling for his children, his voice echoing among the ancient trees. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The local community assisted at first but gradually gave up, convinced the boys had fallen victim to some wild predator or were lost forever in the mountain's impenetrable depths. Jacob, however, never gave up. He continued his solitary search until he too disappeared. Some say he finally succumbed to exhaustion and desolation. Others, more inclined to mysticism, suspect he was absorbed by the very forces that stole his children. After his disappearance, reports of sightings of the Tall Man began. Many claimed to see him wandering the slopes of Brown Mountain, the light of his lantern flickering among the nighttime mists. It is said that his tall, slender silhouette can be seen, his clothes torn by thorns and time, as he continues his eternal search for his lost children. Some travelers and local residents report hearing his desperate calls, a voice laden with pain and hope, so palpable it chills the blood in the veins. The relationship between the Tall Man and the Brown Mountain lights is a topic of intense speculation. Some theorize that the lights are manifestations of Jacob's energy, distorted by eternal pain and suffering. Others suggest that the lights are a natural phenomenon, perhaps mountain gases or some form of unknown geological energy, which Jacob mistakenly believed to be signs of his children. Year after year, the legend of the tall man grows, fueled by constant reports and the enveloping mystery of the lights. Documentaries and paranormal investigations attempt to unravel the mystery, but so far, no definitive explanation has been found. For those who visit Brown Mountain, the figure of the tall man serves as a grim reminder of the thin line between love and obsession, reality and the supernatural. And so, on particularly quiet and starry nights, when the lights begin to dance among the mountain shadows, the story of Jacob Miller, the tall man, is told around campfires, a chilling tale of love, loss, and the eternal search that transcends death itself. Story 4. In the vast and enigmatic Appalachian Mountains, which stretch across a tangle of deep valleys and dense forests, there exists an ancient and mysterious legend that permeates the imagination of those who dwell or visit these mountains. This is the tale of the mountain folk, diminutive and elusive beings who, according to reports, inhabit the most inaccessible and shadowy regions of this vast territory. The origin of this legend is as old as the Appalachians themselves, blending with the stories of the Native American tribes and the early European settlers who ventured into these mountains in search of new lives. The natives, whose oral traditions are rich in tales of forest spirits and small creatures, may have been the first to speak of these mysterious beings, describing them as guardians of nature or manifestations of the ancient forces that govern these wild lands. The mountain folk are often described as not exceeding 1 meter in height, with agile bodies capable of moving with astonishing speed and silence. Their appearance is said to be almost ethereal, with pale skin and large, bright eyes that reflect the moonlight. They are dressed in clothes made of natural fibers, blending perfectly with the forest environment, which makes them nearly invisible to the casual observer. It is believed that they live in well-organized and hidden communities, possibly in caves or rudimentary structures made of stones and leaves, so well concealed that few humans have ever had the chance to find them. Their homes are described as being in complete harmony with nature, often hidden by layers of moss and foliage, revealing architecture that is both primitive and incredibly adapted to the harsh mountain conditions. Accounts of encounters with the mountain folk vary, and are always laden with an atmosphere of mystery and strangeness. Some hikers report hearing laughter and whispers on the less traveled trails, or seeing small fleeting shadows among the trees, almost as if the wind had form and life. Others speak of personal items disappearing overnight or finding small footprints in places where no human could have reached. The Appalachian Mountains, with their secrets hidden in the shadows of ancient trees and deep valleys, are the birthplace of numerous legends and myths. Among these tales, that of the mountain folk stands out, evoking theories that attempt to explain their mysterious existence and enigmatic nature. One of the most accepted theories suggests that the mountain folk might be descendants of Native American tribes who took refuge deep in the forests to avoid contact with European colonizers. According to this perspective, these tribes may have adapted so deeply to the mountain conditions that they developed unique physical and social characteristics, allowing them to live almost invisible to the eyes of modern man. It is said that these beings have a spiritual connection to the land that sustains them, practicing ancient rituals and maintaining a harmony that makes them practically part of the landscape, undetectable to those who do not know how to look. Another fascinating and mystery-laden theory suggests that the mountain folk do not belong to our world or time dimension. These would be interdimensional beings, capable of crossing the barriers of time and space with abilities that defy the laws of physics as we know them. Theorists who support this idea believe that these beings utilize natural portals hidden in the mountains, which function as passages to different dimensions. These interdimensional beings would originate from a plane of existence that overlaps with ours, accessing our world only during moments of cosmic alignment or through specific energy disturbances, which could explain the sporadic appearances and elusive nature of these creatures. They would then be not merely physical, but also elements of a broader reality, possessing knowledge and technologies that we perceive as magical or supernatural. Some scholars propose that the manifestations of the mountain folk are closely linked to specific natural and energetic phenomena of the Appalachians, such as ley lines, anomalous electromagnetic fields, or even the rare bioluminescence found in certain plants and fungi of the region. These particular conditions could facilitate or even necessitate the intermittent presence of these beings, creating a cycle of interaction between dimensions that is both natural and mysterious. Regardless of the origin or nature of the mountain folk, these theories reflect the profound impact that the legend has on local culture and the respect for the intricate and often inexplicable nature of the Appalachian Mountains. For locals and visitors, the stories of the mountain folk are not just tales to scare the curious or entertain tourists. They are manifestations of a world that remains partly hidden, guarded by secrets that challenge our understanding and invite reverence and mystery. Story 5. In the undulating shadows of the mountains of West Virginia, among the murmurs of ancient winds and the whisper of leaves, echoes a story that chills the blood of the bravest and ignites a flame of curiosity in the hearts of storytellers. This is the legend of Annabelle, the bride of the Appalachians, whose lost spirit wanders the mountainous roads, shrouded in mystery and tragedy. Annabelle was the embodiment of joy and hope. Known in her small village for her radiant beauty and gentle spirit, she was deeply in love with Thomas, a young farmer with whom she shared a love that many described as something out of a fairy tale. The couple planned their wedding during the peak of autumn, when the mountains are dressed in the vibrant colors of the season, celebrating their love amidst the splendor of nature. On the wedding day, the entire village gathered, adorning the church with wildflowers and golden leaves. Annabelle, in her meticulously hand-sewn wedding dress with delicate lace and tiny pearls, walked down the aisle under admiring glances and tears of joy from the guests. Thomas, at the altar, could barely contain his happiness at seeing the woman he would soon call his wife. After a jubilant celebration, the couple departed in a decorated horse-drawn carriage for their honeymoon at a remote inn, a wedding gift from their parents. However, as they ascended the winding mountain roads, a sudden and fierce storm brewed. Lightning slashed the sky while torrential rain turned the path into a treacherous hazard. The horses, terrified by the lightning and the roar of thunder, lost control. Thomas struggled to hold the reins, but in a moment of absolute horror, the carriage overturned, throwing Annabelle against the sharp rocks of the gorge beside the road. Her fate was sealed by the cruel reality of nature. Her body, still adorned in her wedding dress, was brutally marked by tragedy. Since that fateful day, many have reported seeing a solitary female figure on the roads where Annabelle met her tragic end. She is often described as an ethereal apparition in bridal attire, with her veil torn by the wind and her dress stained with mud and blood. Her presence is always accompanied by an aura of deep sadness and desolation. Nighttime travelers tell of Annabelle approaching stopped vehicles, her melancholic gaze searching for something or someone, presumably her beloved Thomas. She attempts to communicate, extending a trembling hand, but when confronted, dissolves into the cold mountain air, leaving behind only the echo of her lament and the palpable sensation of despair. The legend of the bride's spirit transcends the story of lost love. It speaks to the heart of a community that knows well the beauty and brutality of their lands. For the locals, Annabelle is not just a scary story. She is a constant reminder of the forces that shape their lives, a symbol of the eternal struggle between life and death, love and loss. Visitors to the Appalachian Mountains, drawn by the legend, come in hopes of catching a glimpse of this lost bride, perhaps to offer her some comfort or to witness for themselves the truth behind the myth. Some leave flowers at the site of the accident, a tribute to the bride whose journey was cut short too soon, while others pray for her soul, wishing her to find the way to eternal rest and reunite with her beloved Thomas in a world beyond this. Annabelle, the spirit of the Appalachian bride, remains an enigmatic and tragic figure, a haunting presence that continues to inspire both fear and compassion, keeping alive the thin line between reality and folklore in the shadowy mountains of West Virginia. Story 6. In the heart of Shenandoah National Park, enveloped in the mists of time and ancient forests, echoes a dark tale that transcends generations, a narrative filled with mystery, fear, and sinister accusations of witchcraft. This is the legend of the three sisters of Shenandoah, whose names have been forever sealed in collective memory as symbols of persecution and supernatural vengeance. Elizabeth, Margaret, and Catherine were known throughout the region for their exceptional healing abilities. Granddaughters of a renowned healer, they were raised in the isolated beauty of Shenandoah, where the mountains whisper ancient secrets and the rivers flow with forgotten stories. The sisters, with their deep knowledge of medicinal herbs and healing practices, were initially seen as benefactors of the community. However, harmony was shattered when a series of unfortunate events began to plague the village. Crops inexplicably ruined, animals found dead without signs of predators, and a mysterious disease that affected children and adults alike. The community, gripped by fear and superstition, began to seek a scapegoat for their misfortunes. The sisters' skills, once revered, became the focus of dark suspicions. Rumors began to spread, fueled by ignorance and fear, that the three sisters were in collusion with dark forces, practicing witchcraft and casting curses on those who had once held them in high esteem. Collective hysteria grew, culminating in formal accusations of witchcraft. On a fateful day under a gray autumn sky, the sisters were dragged before a tribunal assembled by the community, where they were judged not by a jury of their peers, but by an enraged mob thirsty for justice, real or imagined. Elizabeth, the eldest and most eloquent of the sisters, tried in vain to defend herself and her sisters, arguing their innocence and the absurdity of the charges. However, fear had clouded any sense of reason, and the verdict was swiftly delivered. The sisters were condemned to death at the stake, a brutal sentence that echoed through the mountains with a grim echo. Elizabeth, in the flames of execution, cast a final curse on the village, promising that their souls would know no rest and that true justice would be revealed under the light of the full moon. Since then, reports of apparitions and unexplained phenomena have become part of the local folklore. Residents and visitors speak of seeing female figures under the moonlight, hearing whispers among the trees, and feeling a cold presence accompanied by a palpable sense of despair. Full moon nights, in particular, seem to awaken these apparitions, as if the sisters were once again walking the trails and valleys of Shenandoah, seeking justice or perhaps offering help to those who dare acknowledge the truth of their story. The legend of the Three Sisters of Shenandoah serves as a grim reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria and baseless persecutions. It continues to attract historians, paranormal enthusiasts, and curious tourists to Shenandoah, all in search of understanding the truth behind the legend and perhaps witnessing for themselves the mysteries that still flourish in the ancient forests. The line between history and myth may be thin, but in Shenandoah, it is as real as the shadows that dance under the moonlight, whispering the tragic tale of the three sisters to those brave enough to listen. Story 7. In a region marked by the grandeur of its mountains and the depth of its mysteries, Mount Appalachia stands out not only for its natural beauty but also as the stage for one of the most chilling and tragic legends in local folklore, the legend of the Children of Light. It is said that centuries ago, a small village thrived on the slopes of Mount Appalachia, a place where families were bound by tradition and a deep respect for the nature that surrounded them. The village children, free and joyful, explored the forests, knowing every stone and every tree as if they were part of their own homes. One night, under a new full moon sky, a group of children decided to venture deeper into the forest than ever before. Fascinated by tales from an old hunter about a mystical clearing that glowed under the moonlight, they longed to see this spectacle for themselves. Driven by curiosity and the thrill of adventure, they lost their way in the dense forest, disappearing into the shadows among the ancient trees. When the children did not return, panic set in the village. Searches were organized, with lanterns and torches lighting up the night, as mothers and fathers called out for their children. But there was no response, only the echo of their own voices against the vast emptiness of the mountain. After weeks of fruitless searching, the village was forced to accept the painful truth. The children had been swallowed by the forest, leaving behind only traces of their laughter and play. Not long after these tragic events, reports began to emerge of small dancing lights seen in the forest at night. Initially thought to be fairies or forest spirits, the stories soon took a darker turn. The lights were described as the souls of the lost children, doomed to wander the forest, trying to find their way back home. Legend has it that these enchanting lights attempt to lure travelers, glowing more intensely as someone approaches. Travelers and locals report hearing children's laughter and whispers among the trees, as if the children were there, hidden just beyond sight, playing among the shadows. Some say they followed the lights, mesmerized by their beauty and the sound of eternal joy, only to find themselves lost, disoriented, and sometimes never seen again. Others, more fortunate, speak of a feeling of deep sadness and regret that envelopes them when the lights disappear, leaving them alone in the oppressive darkness of the forest. A persistent belief among the village elders suggests that the children can be freed if someone manages to follow the lights without being led astray, reaching the mystical clearing the children sought on that fateful night. It is said that in that clearing, under the full moonlight, the souls can finally rest, freed from the eternal bond with the forest that claimed them. Year after year, the story of the Children of Light is passed down from generation to generation, a tale of warning and sorrow, a mystery that continues to haunt the slopes of Mount Appalachia. For adventurers who visit the mountain, the lights offer both a temptation and a terror, a promise of wonder and a risk of eternal peril. And so, on the darkest nights, when the wind carries the echo of ancient laughter, the Children of Light continue to call for company, trapped between the world of the living and the realm of eternal shadows. Story 8. Mystical Orbs of Mount Appalachia, Mystery, Fear and Fascination. A series of inexplicable phenomena has captured the imagination of locals and visitors for generations. Among these, the sightings of luminous orbs are perhaps the most enigmatic and discussed. These spheres of light, floating unexplained through the dense forests and hidden valleys, have become a central element in local legends that blend the supernatural with the tangible. The first reports of orbs in the Appalachian Mountains date back centuries, when the early settlers, illuminated only by the light of torches and lanterns, reported seeing small dancing lights that seemed to play among the trees. Described as spheres of light varying in color from a soft blue to an intense burning white, these orbs have been sighted floating silently, defying the laws of physics and natural explanation. Over the years, interest in these phenomena has only grown, with frequent reports in local newspapers and paranormal enthusiast blogs. Teams of investigators, equipped with high-tech cameras and motion sensors, have camped in the most active regions of the Appalachians hoping to capture concrete evidence of these mysterious orbs. In a memorable report from a local newspaper, a group of night hikers recounted an experience where several orbs surrounded them, moving in an intelligent and purposeful manner. They described a feeling of supernatural calm, followed by a sudden chilling cold when the lights abruptly disappeared into the darkness. Theories about the origin of these orbs vary widely. Some locals believe they are manifestations of ancient mountain spirits, perhaps the very founders of their communities, still wandering the land they once called home. Others suggest that the lights might be natural phenomena not yet understood by modern science, such as gases emitting phosphorescence when released from fissures in the rocky soil of the Appalachians. There are also those who believe the orbs are visitors from other dimensions, appearing in the Appalachians due to its wild nature and unfiltered esoteric energies, creating a portal to our world. These interdimensional theories are reinforced by reports of temporary disappearances of people who have been taken by these lights, only to reappear hours later with no memory of the event. For the residents of the Appalachian Mountains, the orbs are a source of both fascination and fear. While some families pass down generation to generation the warning to avoid the forests at night, others see in these phenomena a deep connection with the supernatural and the divine. Local festivals and storytellers often address the theme of orbs, celebrating them as a mystical and essential part of the region's cultural heritage. Curiosity about these orbs has attracted tourists and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world, eager to witness these phenomena for themselves. Specialized tour guides have begun offering orb tours that promise to take the brave through the trails and spots where sightings are most frequent. One of the most talked about stories occurred on a clear autumn night, when a group of explorers reported an intense light that guided them away from an area where a forest fire started minutes later. They believe the orbs possess a consciousness of their own, perhaps protective, guiding them to safety. These accounts, though fascinating, leave more questions than answers. While the true nature of the orbs remains a mystery, the legend of the light orbs of Mount Appalachia continues to be a topic of heated debate, scientific study, and for many, a transformative experience that links the terrestrial to the celestial. Story 9. The Giants of the Appalachians, a legend of monumental proportions. In the vast and misty expanses of the Appalachian Mountains, tales of gigantic creatures have permeated local folklore for centuries. The so-called giants of the Appalachians are an intriguing part of the legends that surround these ancient mountains, where the line between reality and myth is often as hazy as the mornings on the slopes of these hills. The first accounts of the giants date back to colonial times when European explorers arrived in the Americas and heard from indigenous people stories about beings as tall as trees, with voices that echoed like thunder through the valleys. According to legend, these beings were capable of moving large rocks and felling trees with their bare hands. Over the years, various sightings have been reported by hikers, hunters, and local residents. These witnesses describe the giants as having immense stature, with reports varying between 8 and 15 feet tall, covered by a thick layer of hair, with eyes that glow with a disturbing radiance in the darkness of the forests. In 1924, a report in a local newspaper captured the imagination of many, detailing the encounter of a group of loggers with one of these giants. According to the article, the men came across a creature that roared with a voice that reverberated through the mountains, before disappearing among the trees with steps that made the ground tremble. Theories about the origin of these giants are diverse and add to the mystery that surrounds them. Some believe they are descendants of an ancient lineage of prehistoric beings that somehow survived in isolation. Others speculate that they might be physical manifestations of earth spirits, rooted in Native American traditions that speak of forest guardians. A particularly popular theory among paranormal enthusiasts suggests that the giants are interdimensional beings, capable of appearing and disappearing at will, using the mountains as portals between different realities. For the residents of areas near the Appalachian Mountains, the giants are both a source of fear and fascination. Many families pass down stories from previous generations, warning children not to venture alone into the forests at dusk. Tour guides occasionally use these legends to attract visitors, but always with a caution to maintain respect and caution during their hikes. Recent events. Recently, interest in the Appalachian giants was rekindled when a team of documentary filmmakers captured a blurry image, which many believe to be one of the giants, in a remote area of the park. Although the image is not conclusive, it has fueled debates and theories, attracting more curious individuals and researchers to the region. These legends of the Appalachian giants continue to be a vital element of regional folklore, with new reports emerging from time to time, each adding a layer of mystery and wonder to the already rich tapestry of myths of these ancient mountains. Thus, the giants remain not just a shadow in the mist, but a symbol of the eternal interplay between humanity and the mysteries of nature. Story 10. The Giants of Mount Appalachia, Revelations and Mysteries of 2024. The legends of the giants of Mount Appalachia, creatures of epic proportions that roam the vast and misty expanses of these ancient mountains, have fueled the imagination and fear of locals and visitors for centuries. In 2024, new evidence and accounts have revitalized these ancient tales, turning them into a phenomenon that attracts both scientists and mystery hunters. Delving deeper into origins historically, the legends of the Appalachia giants date back to the era of the first European explorers who, upon arriving in the Americas, heard from indigenous peoples about colossal beings residing in the depths of the forests. These beings, described as tall as trees and with voices that echoed through the valleys, were known for their supernatural strength, capable of altering the landscape around them with astonishing ease. Modern sightings and media coverage in the current year of 2024, a series of well-documented sightings have brought the Appalachia giants back into the headlines. Tourists equipped with state-of-the-art cameras and recording devices have reported increasingly frequent encounters with these mysterious creatures. In March, a video captured by a group of hikers showed an immense figure, shrouded in shadows, moving with agility that contradicts its formidable stature. This video went viral, sparking a wave of interest and speculation. Updated theories about the nature of these giants are diverse and complex. Descendants of prehistoric lineages, some scientists propose that these giants might be survivors of an unknown species of hominids or large mammals that adapted to the extreme isolation of the mountains. This theory dives deep into the shadows of prehistoric unknowns and biological evolution, suggesting that these imposing creatures could be the last remnants of an ancient lineage that modern eras have forgotten due to their isolation in the most remote regions of the Appalachian Mountains. These giants are described as beings of colossal stature, with physical features that challenge our current understanding of the known evolutionary tree. The idea is that at some distant point in geological history, an evolutionary branch took a divergent path in the dense forests and inaccessible valleys of the Appalachians. In isolation, these beings not only survived the great extinctions that wiped out many other large mammals and hominids, but also adapted in unique ways to the extreme environmental and climatic demands of the mountains. Spiritual manifestations. Many local residents, supported by Native American traditions, see these giants as spirits or guardians of the earth, protectors of the mountains against invasions and environmental damage. Interdimensional beings. A fascinating and widely discussed theory among paranormal enthusiasts is that the giants might be entities capable of moving between dimensions, using the mountains as portals or access points to our world. The theory of interdimensional beings related to the Appalachia giants is one of the most mysterious and spine-chilling aspects of the legends surrounding these ancient mountains. According to this view, the giants are not merely flesh and blood creatures, but complex entities with the ability to cross between different dimensions of space-time, using the mountains as true portals or access points to our world. The Appalachia Mountains, with their vast forests, hidden valleys, and misty peaks, are said to be places of ancient and mystical power, filled with energy that transcends conventional human understanding. Theorists speculate that certain areas of these mountains, perhaps due to a confluence of ley lines or geological peculiarities, function as natural portals or vortexes that facilitate passage between parallel realities. According to paranormal enthusiasts, the Appalachia giants might use these portals intuitively or ritualistically. They appear in our world in specific places and times, possibly aligned with astronomical events, weather patterns, or other environmental conditions that activate or open these portals. Sightings of these giants, often accompanied by inexplicable phenomena such as strange lights or atmospheric distortions, may be evidence of their crossings. When the giants cross into our world, they not only bring with them a shroud of mystery, but also challenge our notions of reality. Accounts of encounters with these beings often include sensations of distorted time, perceptual changes, and a deep sense of reality alteration, suggesting that their mere presence can affect the fabric of our environment. The possibility of the existence of beings that can traverse dimensions feeds both fear and fascination. For locals and visitors to the Appalachia Mountains, stories and sightings of interdimensional giants are shared with a mix of reverence and terror. These narratives contribute to a rich oral tradition that impacts tourism, culture, and even the spirituality of the region. While the scientific community remains skeptical about the possibility of interdimensionality due to a lack of concrete empirical evidence, the debate among paranormal enthusiasts and mystery investigators continues to grow. These discussions often explore quantum physics and theories of multiple dimensions as ways to explain or validate reported experiences and sightings. This theory of interdimensional beings not only provides an explanation for the many mysteries surrounding the giants of Appalachia, but also expands our imagination about what might be possible in the still not fully understood corners of our world and beyond. The idea that our planet might contain passageways to unknown realities offers a tempting and chilling invitation to explore the frontiers of science, nature, and the unknown. The renewed interest in the Appalachia giants has had a significant impact on local tourism. Tour guides and adventure operators now offer giant tours, promising participants a chance to glimpse these legendary figures. Meanwhile, local authorities face the challenge of balancing the growing tourist influx with the need to preserve the environmental and cultural integrity of the mountains. Universities and research institutes have launched new scientific projects, some funded by government agencies interested in better understanding these creatures and their possible connection to environmental and biodiversity issues. In an intriguing development, a team from a University of Virginia proposed the use of drones equipped with thermal recognition technology to map the movements of these giants, in an attempt to discover patterns or even locate their dwellings. The giants of Mount Appalachia continue to be a source of fascination and mystery. With each new report, with each blurred image that emerges, the lines between reality and folklore become more entangled. For many, these creatures are a vivid reminder that, even in a world where the most remote corners seem within reach, there are still mysteries that defy our understanding, waiting in the shadows of ancient mountains. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like to support us. And more importantly, if you have any supernatural experiences, don't keep them to yourself. Write your story in the comments below. Share your encounter with the inexplicable, feed the collective curiosity, and perhaps together we can unravel these mysteries that linger like mist between the world of the living and the dead. Remember, the unknown is always lurking, just a tale away. And now, as night falls, who knows what shadows may emerge from the darkness to whisper yet another true tale of terror. Geschichte 8. Mystische Kugeln des Mount Appalachia. Geheimnis, Angst und Faszination. Eine Reihe ungeklärter Phänomene erregt seit Generationen die Fantasie von Einheimischen und Besuchern. Unter diesen sind die Sichtungen leuchtender Kugeln vielleicht die rätselhaftesten und umstrittensten. Diese Lichtkugeln, die ohne Erklärung durch die dichten Wälder und versteckten Täler schweben, sind zu einem zentralen Element lokaler Legenden geworden, die das Übernatürliche mit dem Greifbaren verbinden. Die ersten Berichte über Kugeln in den Appalachen reichen Jahrhunderte zurück, als frühe Siedler, die nur vom Licht von Fackeln und Laternen beleuchtet wurden, berichteten, kleine, tanzende Lichter gesehen zu haben, die zwischen den Bäumen zu spielen schienen. Diese Kugeln werden als Lichtkugeln beschrieben, deren Farbe von einem sanften Blau bis zu einem intensiven feurigen Weiß reicht. Man hat sie gesichtet, wie sie lautlos schweben und sich den Gesetzen der Physik und natürlichen Erklärungen widersetzen. Im Laufe der Jahre ist das Interesse an diesen Phänomenen immer größer geworden, und paranormale Enthusiasten berichten häufig in lokalen Zeitungen und Blogs. Ermittlerteams, ausgestattet mit Hightech-Kameras und Bewegungssensoren, kampieren in den aktivsten Regionen der Appalachen in der Hoffnung, handfeste Beweise für diese mysteriösen Kugeln zu erbeuten. In einem denkwürdigen lokalen Zeitungsbericht berichtete eine Gruppe Nachtwanderer von einem Erlebnis, bei dem mehrere Kugeln sie umgaben und sich intelligent und zielstrebig bewegten. Sie beschrieben ein Gefühl unheimlicher Ruhe, gefolgt von einer plötzlichen eisigen Kälte, als die Lichter plötzlich in der Dunkelheit verschwanden. Die Theorien über den Ursprung dieser Kugeln gehen weit auseinander. Einige Einheimische glauben, dass es sich dabei um Manifestationen uralter Berggeister handelt, vielleicht um die Gründer ihrer Gemeinschaften selbst, die immer noch durch das Land streifen, das sie einst ihr Zuhause nannten. Andere vermuten, dass es sich bei den Lichtern möglicherweise um natürliche Phänomene handelt, die die moderne Wissenschaft noch nicht verstanden hat, etwa um Gase, die Phosphoreszenz abgeben, wenn sie aus Spalten im felsigen Boden der Appalachen freigesetzt werden. Es gibt auch diejenigen, die glauben, dass die Kugeln Besucher aus anderen Dimensionen sind, die aufgrund ihrer wilden Natur und ungefilterten esoterischen Energien in den Appalachen auftauchen und ein Portal zu unserer Welt schaffen. Diese interdimensionalen Theorien werden durch Berichte über das vorübergehende Verschwinden von Menschen untermauert, die von diesen Lichtern weggenommen wurden, nur um Stunden später wieder aufzutauchen, ohne Erinnerung an das, was passiert ist. Für die Bewohner der Appalachen sind Kugeln eine Quelle der Faszination und Ehrfurcht zugleich. Während einige Familien von Generation zu Generation die Warnung weitergeben, nachts Wälder zu meiden, sehen andere in diesen Phänomenen eine tiefe Verbindung mit dem Übernatürlichen und dem Göttlichen. Lokale Feste und Geschichtenerzähler greifen das Thema der Kugeln häufig auf und feiern sie als mystischen und wesentlichen Teil des kulturellen Erbes der Region. Die Neugier auf diese Kugeln hat Touristen und Paranormalenthusiasten aus der ganzen Welt angezogen, die diese Phänomene unbedingt mit eigenen Augen beobachten möchten. Spezialisierte Reiseführer haben damit begonnen, Orb-Touren anzubieten, die versprechen, die mutigsten entlang der Wege und Orte zu führen, an denen man sie am häufigsten sieht. Eine der am meisten diskutierten Geschichten ereignete sich in einer klaren Herbstnacht, als eine Gruppe von Forschern von einem intensiven Licht berichtete, das sie aus einem Gebiet führte, in dem Minuten später ein Waldbrand ausbrach. Sie glauben, dass die Kugeln ein eigenes, vielleicht schützendes Bewusstsein haben, das sie in Sicherheit führt. Diese Berichte sind zwar faszinierend, hinterlassen aber mehr Fragen als Antworten. Während die wahre Natur der Kugeln ein Rätsel bleibt, ist die Legende der Lichtkugeln des Mount Appalachia weiterhin Gegenstand hitziger Debatten, wissenschaftlicher Studien und für viele eine transformierende Erfahrung, die eine Brücke zwischen dem Irdischen und dem Himmlischen schlägt. Geschichte 9. Die Riesen der Appalachen, eine Legende von monumentalen Ausmaßen. In den weiten nebligen Gebieten der Appalachen prägen Geschichten über gigantische Kreaturen seit Jahrhunderten die lokale Folklore. Die sogenannten Appalachian Giants sind ein faszinierender Teil der Legenden rund um diese alten Berge, in denen die Grenze zwischen Realität und Mythos oft so verschwommen ist wie die Morgen an den Hängen dieser Hügel. Die ersten Berichte über Riesen stammen aus der Kolonialzeit, als europäische Entdecker auf dem amerikanischen Kontinent ankamen und von einheimischen Geschichten über baumhohe Wesen hörten, deren Stimmen wie Donner durch die Täler hallten. Der Legende nach waren diese Wesen in der Lage, mit bloßen Händen große Steine zu bewegen und Bäume umzuwerfen. Im Laufe der Jahre wurden zahlreiche Sichtungen von Wanderern, Jägern und Einheimischen gemeldet. Diese Zeugen beschreiben die Riesen als von gewaltiger Statur, Berichten zufolge zwischen 8 und 15 Fuß groß, mit einer dicken Haarschicht bedeckt und mit Augen, die in der Dunkelheit der Wälder mit einem beunruhigenden Glanz leuchten. Im Jahr 1924 erregte ein lokaler Zeitungsbericht die Fantasie vieler und berichtete von der Begegnung einer Gruppe Holzfäller mit einem dieser Riesen. Dem Artikel zufolge stießen die Männer auf eine Kreatur, die mit einer Stimme brüllte, die durch die Berge hallte, bevor sie mit Schritten, die den Boden beben ließen, in den Bäumen verschwand. Theorien über den Ursprung dieser Riesen sind vielfältig und befeuern das Geheimnis, das sie umgibt. Einige glauben, dass sie Nachkommen einer alten Abstammungslinie prähistorischer Wesen sind, die irgendwie isoliert überlebten. Andere spekulieren, dass es sich möglicherweise um physische Manifestationen von Erdgeistern handelt, die in den Traditionen der amerikanischen Ureinwohner verwurzelt sind, die von Wächtern des Waldes sprechen. Eine unter paranormalen Enthusiasten besonders beliebte Theorie besagt, dass Riesen interdimensionale Wesen sind, die nach Belieben erscheinen und verschwinden können und Berge als Portale zwischen verschiedenen Realitäten nutzen. Für Bewohner der Gebiete in der Nähe der Appalachen sind Riesen sowohl eine Quelle der Angst als auch der Faszination. Viele Familien geben Geschichten von früheren Generationen weiter und warnen ihre Kinder davor, sich in der Abenddämmerung alleine in den Wald zu wagen. Reiseführer nutzen diese Legenden gelegentlich, um Besucher anzulocken, jedoch immer mit der Warnung, bei ihren Spaziergängen respektvoll und vorsichtig zu sein. Aktuelle Ereignisse. Kürzlich wurde das Interesse an den Riesen der Appalachen wiederbelebt, als ein Team von Dokumentarfilmern in einem abgelegenen Bereich des Parks ein verschwommenes Bild aufnahm, von dem viele glaubten, es handele sich um einen der Riesen. Obwohl das Bild nicht schlüssig ist, hat es Debatten und Theorien angeheizt und mehr neugierige Menschen und Forscher in die Region gelockt. Diese Legenden über die Riesen der Appalachen sind nach wie vor ein wichtiger Bestandteil der regionalen Folklore. Von Zeit zu Zeit tauchen neue Berichte auf, die jeweils eine Ebene voller Geheimnisse und Wunder zum bereits reichen Mythosteppich dieser alten Berge hinzufügen. Somit bleiben die Riesen nicht nur ein Schatten im Nebel, sondern ein Symbol für die ewige Interaktion zwischen der Menschheit und den Geheimnissen der Natur. Die Riesen des Appalachengebirges. Enthüllungen und Mysterien von 2024. Die Legenden über die Riesen des Appalachengebirges, Kreaturen von epischen Proportionen, die durch die weitläufigen und nebligen Weiten dieser alten Berge streifen, haben seit Jahrhunderten die Fantasie und Furcht der Einheimischen und Besucher genährt. Im Jahr 2024 haben neue Beweise und Berichte diese alten Geschichten wiederbelebt und sie zu einem Phänomen gemacht, das sowohl Wissenschaftler als auch Mysterienjäger anzieht. In die Ursprünge eintauchen. Historisch gesehen reichen die Legenden der Appalachenriesen zurück in die Zeit der ersten europäischen Entdecker, die bei ihrer Ankunft in Amerika von den indigenen Völkern Berichte über kolossale Wesen hörten, die in den Tiefen der Wälder lebten. Diese Wesen, beschrieben als hoch wie Bäume und mit Stimmen, die durch die Täler hallten, waren bekannt für ihre übernatürliche Stärke, fähig, die Landschaft um sie herum mit erschreckender Leichtigkeit zu verändern. Moderne Sichtungen und Medienberichterstattung. Im laufenden Jahr 2024 brachte eine Reihe gut dokumentierter Sichtungen die Riesen der Appalachen wieder in die Schlagzeilen. Touristen, ausgestattet mit modernsten Kameras und Aufnahmegeräten, haben zunehmend häufigere Begegnungen mit diesen geheimnisvollen Kreaturen gemeldet. Im März zeigte ein von einer Wanderergruppe aufgenommenes Video eine immense Figur, umhüllt von Schatten, die sich mit einer Agilität bewegte, die ihrer gewaltigen Statur widerspricht. Dieses Video wurde viral und löste eine Welle des Interesses und der Spekulation aus. Aktualisierte Theorien. Die Theorien über die Natur dieser Riesen sind vielfältig und komplex. Nachkommen prähistorischer Linien. Einige Wissenschaftler schlagen vor, dass diese Riesen Überlebende einer unbekannten Spezies von Hominiden oder großen Säugetieren sein könnten, die sich an die extreme Isolation der Berge angepasst haben. Spirituelle Erscheinungen. Viele der Einheimischen, unterstützt von den Traditionen der amerikanischen Ureinwohner, betrachten diese Riesen als Geister oder Wächter der Erde, die die Berge vor Eingriffen und Umweltschäden schützen. Interdimensionale Wesen. Eine faszinierende und weit diskutierte Theorie unter Paranormal-Enthusiasten ist, dass die Riesen Entitäten sein könnten, die zwischen Dimensionen wechseln können, wobei sie die Berge als Portale oder Zugangspunkte zu unserer Welt nutzen. Die Erneuerung des Interesses an den Riesen des Appalachengebirges hat einen bedeutenden Einfluss auf den lokalen Tourismus gehabt. Tourguides und Abenteuerunternehmen bieten nun Riesentouren an, die den Teilnehmern eine Chance bieten, diese legendären Figuren zu sichten. Parallel dazu stehen die lokalen Behörden vor der Herausforderung, den wachsenden Touristenstrom mit der Notwendigkeit zu balancieren, die ökologische und kulturelle Integrität der Berge zu bewahren. Wenn Ihnen dieses Video gefallen hat, vergessen Sie nicht, ein Like zu hinterlassen, um uns zu unterstützen. Und wichtiger, wenn Sie irgendwelche übernatürlichen Erfahrungen haben, behalten Sie sie nicht für sich. Schreiben Sie Ihre Geschichte in die Kommentare unten. Teilen Sie Ihre Begegnung mit dem Unerklärlichen, nähren Sie die kollektive Neugier. Und wer weiß, vielleicht können wir gemeinsam diese Mysterien lüften, die wie Nebel zwischen der Welt der Lebenden und der Toten schweben. Denken Sie daran, das Unbekannte lauert immer nur eine Erzählung entfernt. Und jetzt, da die Nacht hereinbricht, wer weiß, welche Schatten aus der Dunkelheit emporsteigen können, um eine weitere wahre Schauergeschichte zu flüstern.